Mới ở ngưỡng tuổi 30 với tuổi đời còn khá trẻ, nhưng Dennis Sandquist Trần Thanh Hương đã có cho mình một vốn sống khá phong phú và những câu chuyện truyền cảm hứng từ chuyện đời đến chuyện xây dựng sự nghiệp. Sinh ra ở Việt Nam, trưởng thành ở Thụy Điển, nhưng Dennis có thể nói tới 6 thứ tiếng. Năm 2016, Dennis cũng từng gây chú ý trên mạng xã hội khi dòng trạng thái tìm mẹ ruột của cô được chia sẻ rộng rãi và giúp cô tái ngộ với người mẹ ruột và gia đình người Việt của mình sau bao năm thất lạc. Ở cô gái này luôn toát lên năng lượng dồi dào, sự nhiệt huyết, tự tin và chủ động. Sự chủ động tìm đến và đón nhận những điều mình mong muốn có được, chủ động tạo ra cơ hội cho bản thân được sống với lý tưởng và đam mê của mình. Và gần đây nhất là chủ động tìm kiếm cơ hội khởi nghiệp tại Việt Nam cùng người bạn đồng hành của mình với việc tạo lập và phát triển ứng dụng hẹn hò Fika, lấy thị trường và văn hóa Việt Nam làm trọng điểm và sự an toàn cho người sử dụng, đặc biệt là phụ nữ lên ưu tiên hàng đầu. Doanh nghiệp này dù mới ở giai đoạn đầu phát triển nhưng đã có được những thành công nhất định và mang đến rất nhiều câu chuyện thú vị cho người dùng với những đặc tính văn hóa của người Việt được đưa vào như một yếu tố để người dùng lựa chọn bạn đời. Chúng ta hãy cùng tìm hiểu và lắng nghe những chia sẻ thú vị của Dennis Trần Thanh Hương qua cuộc phỏng vấn dưới đây. Hello Dennis, thank you so much for joining me today at Talks with Leaders. And first of all, could you please introduce yourself? I know that you can speak 6 languages, including Vietnamese. So would you like to say something in Vietnamese as well?
Dạ, em cảm ơn chị ạ. Xin chào mọi người. Mình tên là Denise, tên tiếng Việt là Trần Thanh Hương. Mình là con nuôi. Mình sinh ở Việt Nam, ở Hà Nội, năm 1991. Và khi mình 3 tuần tuổi, bố mẹ người Thụy Điển đến Hà Nội. Và mình đến Thụy Điển khi mình khoảng 1 tháng. Mình lớn lên ở Thụy Điển, ở Stockholm. Và mình biết nói sao ngôn ngữ bởi vì khi mình 5 tuổi mình bắt đầu học tiếng Anh. Ở Thụy Điển có rất nhiều người biết nói tiếng Anh và khi mình 12 tuổi mình bắt đầu học tiếng Pháp. Sau đó mình làm military service, like military interpreter and interrogator in Russian. Khi mình 20 tuổi. Sau đó So I worked at the Swedish embassy there for a while, and I had never been to Vietnam. Always been very interested in Vietnam, and my Vietnamese heritage. So when I was 22 years old, I was the same age as my Vietnamese mom was when she gave birth to me. And then I decided that I should go to Vietnam. I came to Vietnam, and I really loved the country in 2013. And since I really wanted to find birth parents, I decided to go to China to live there for a while and also be close to Vietnam to be able to come back to find Vietnamese parents. So I lived in China for 1.5 years and studied Mandarin and tried to look for Vietnamese parents a bit. I lived in Haiphong in northern Vietnam in 2015. And so during these years, I have been close to Vietnam. And I came back to Sweden in 2015, studied at the Stockholm School of Economics, and I always had this vision of creating something for Vietnam, for Vietnamese people, and for the Vietnamese market. So I had an internship in Vietnam in 2016, found my Vietnamese mom because I posted on Facebook and a lot of people shared. And I always wanted to do then something that could potentially help people to connect with others. Long story shorter, that was some of the reasons why I wanted to come to Vietnam after graduating. And now I've been living in Vietnam since 2018, and I am the CEO and co-founder of a social and dating app called Fika.
Your story is very interesting and very impressive. And I can see that you are very active young founders of a young startup as well. What made you have the idea of founding Fika? And why did you choose the term Fika to name the app?
There were some reasons behind Fika, and that was when I came back to Vietnam. I had an internship in 2016, and then I was 25. And at that time, I had many friends, and they were sort of feeling the social pressure to find a partner. And then they were asking me, like, do you have someone to introduce me to? And then they expressed the problems with the dating apps that exist in Vietnam, for example. And then I could see my friends having this. They felt a little bit stressed, especially during Tet holiday when they came back to their families. And I just thought about a way to to maybe do something about it. And also since I was connecting with my Vietnamese mom, and I found her thanks to a lot of people in Vietnam who shared my story, I thought more about meaningful connections, and I thought about what if you could do something that could just connect people. And that was the reasons why, and also that I always wanted to do something for Vietnam and for Vietnamese people. So that was the reason behind Fika. And Fika, it means to like take a coffee, like take some time, like meaningful time to relax with your friends. And it's a very Swedish name. So very typical like Swedish tradition, like way of life. So we wouldn't have called the app Fika if it wouldn't have sounded nice in Vietnamese, that we discussed with our team and everyone thought it sounded good. So it was a nice way to incorporate the Swedish heritage with my Vietnamese heritage.
Interesting. I was in Norway for a while, so Sweden is something very similar to me as well. And I feel it's very interesting to hear your story. But you know that there are plenty of dating apps and also dating websites out there. What makes Fika outstanding and different from them?
Yeah, so there are many different dating apps and websites. So I think that most of these dating apps and websites, they are not really adapted for the Asian market. So at Fika, like sort of the problems that we could identify is that people they don't feel so safe when using the different dating apps and different websites that exist, because there's really nothing that really says that the person behind the app or like the profile is real. So at Fika, we have manual verification. So each person, you have to upload a selfie, and then we're having people that are verifying, comparing this selfie with photos that you upload. So while other like apps, they don't require this, or like it's not mandatory, and you can maybe upload a photo of your cat or like another object. For us, this is something that we require everyone to do. So that is increased safety. And I think that except for safety, it's very important that you feel that the app is really helping you to find meaningful connection or to find a person that you can vibe well with. And with all the different dating apps, they are actually not like if you find your partner on a dating app, then you will take away the app eventually, because that is how it works, because you will not continue to be on the app if you find your boyfriend girlfriend. But at Fika, we look at it more as a lifestyle app. So we're developing a couples version. So with we're going to use using AI. So then the more and more data we have on a person, we are not afraid to really push up people that are suitable for you. Because if you become a couple, you can join the couples version. And if you join the couples version, other people cannot look at your profile, and you can just continue to like gain points, go to restaurants, just have a good time and gaining points with your partner. So I think that the two things that we want to solve with Fika, the first one is with loneliness, because people are so connected these days. We have never been so connected, but actually never lonelier. So for Fika, it's not only about relationship, it's also about friendship, networking, and also relationship or something like more casual. So we don't really say that Fika is only for relationship, but it's more like to pair you up with a person that could be suitable for you. And then in the app, we have personality tests. We incorporate Zodiac, which is quite important in Vietnam. And then just use a lot of data, use like the more we know about you, the better it is, like the easier it is for us to push up these people that you are suitable with. And then if you would have a boyfriend, for example, already, but you are like this person, you like doing sports, you speak languages, for example, you like to do yoga or tennis, then if you have another person that could be suitable for you, then we can pair you up together, and then you can create that kind of relationship. So it's about loneliness. And the second thing is that most like in the world, it's very important to find a person that you can be with for like maybe the rest of your life. And now I am 30, and I know a lot of my friends, they are facing this, like they are thinking a lot about the ones who are singles, who they're going to spend the rest of their life with, and like the next boyfriend has to be like this and this and this. So this is a very important decision. And I think that in the world right now, it is needed to have something that is a little bit better than maybe current dating apps and like websites that is really like trying to like pair people together that are suitable for each other. So it's basically like loneliness, connecting people suitable. And then the second thing is just help them with one of the most important decisions that you do in life, and that is who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So yeah, that's how we are different in overall.
I see that it's not only a dating app, but it sounds like a more social network for people to go there, not only to find their romantic partner, but also to connect with their like-minded people as well. And one of the things that caught my attention the most is that you use zodiac sign to match people. Personally, do you think it's correct to match people that way? And how precise have you found it is for the couple that you have had to match on the app?
Yeah, so this is something that, I mean, with Zodiac, it's since I live in Vietnam now for like some years and I have many Vietnamese friends, for me, it's still amazing to understand how much people care about Zodiac. It's interesting. I think that for some people it's very important, and then it should be something that you should take into consideration, because I have many friends in Vietnam that I tell them that, oh, this guy is nice, or like he's nice, and they ask me, you know his Zodiac. So it's clearly something that people base on. And that is something that, I mean, we are a Vietnamese app. We are adapted for like initially the Vietnamese audience. And that is why when you sign up on Fika, you have to enter your birth date. And then on the profiles, we get automatically like, okay, you are Capricorn, for example, you are Pisces. And so it's good. So on all the profiles, you can see that you don't have to ask a person because we have it on each person. So that is very good. And then we can expand that to, like born in the year of the dragon, or like the sun was like, because we have just that information of the person. So I think now we're just really like in the initial stage, but we have incorporated this 16 personalities test as well, like ENTJ, like ISTP and so and so. And then it's going to be interesting to see that like maybe people, they like people who are Capricorn, for example, but then we can measure and see that actually you seem to send a lot of messages to people who are Pisces. So like you go to a lot of dates with Pisces, and then we can see that, and then we like maybe push up like Pisces, like higher up and so. So yeah, it's still like very like in the beginning, but with more and more data, it's going to be very interesting to see sort of if you can see some kind of like correlation between that two zodiacs would be more like suitable for each other, or like people anyway believe that they are more suitable with a certain zodiac. So yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating and funny at the same time to me as well. But do you have any concrete statistics that shows which zodiac signs would most likely become couples, or the ratios of suitable zodiac signs in theory would become couples in reality?
No, now it's so early. So now we're having this, and then like we have to have a lot of like big data collection, and then it's going to be very interesting to see what we can find.
I'm so curious because I'm not sure about that. I have heard a lot about that, and many people believe in that. And that's why I feel it's so interesting to hear about that. How do you use AI technology to build and operate Fika? Could you elaborate further about that?
Yeah, so at Fika now, so to have AI, you have to have a lot of data. And then you collect a lot of data, and then you can improve the algorithm. We've done a lot of product development and setting up like the system. So the way we are doing is sort of that we can see that with a lot of data that we are collecting, like the messages that you send, we can like measure everything. So see how many messages you send to this kind of person. We try to, so just like to simply like maybe like explain it. So we say, for example, that T2 is using Fika a lot, and we can see that you seem to like a lot of profiles. They seem to be like having these like this personality and so and so. So then we can measure that, and then we can also see that post match you seem to send a lot of messages to this kind of person, and so and so. And you also seem to go a lot of dates on this kind of person. So it's basically as like Netflix, for example, that or Spotify, that you listen to a certain like type of music, you watch a certain kind of movie, and then like the algorithm will become better and better and better, like TikTok, for example. So TikTok is that you're watching like videos, and then the algorithm will feel that, like this, you seem to like this kind of videos, and then the TikTok algorithm is going to serve you more videos that are similar to what you like. So that is like now at Fika, we are so early stage. So we are aiming to connect people through AI, but now our AI is really in the beginning. So with more and more data, then the more exact the matches will be. But at this stage, we don't really have any that kind of AI in the product.
I see that you have a lot of new features and something very different from many other competitors, but still, it's still a very brand new product in a highly competitive market. So how do you use your marketing strategy to approach and convince your target customers to use your...
So I think it's a lot about like making people feel safe when using an app, especially. I think that so now there are a lot of international players that are looking at Asia, Southeast Asia, for example, and that is an interesting market because there is a young population. People start to become so tech savvy. The mobile penetration in Vietnam, for example, it's so high. We have a very young population in Vietnam, but the thing is that well. That is the sort of the challenge and opportunity, because a lot of people, we can see that, for example, the usage of dating apps is increasing in the region, but it's going maybe slower than it could because a lot of people, it's this stigma around, for example, dating apps, that it's not good to be on a dating app. It doesn't feel safe to be on a dating app. I don't believe that I can find someone suitable for me on a dating app. There's so many different reasons why people feel reluctant to use a dating app. And I think that in the end, it's about to make people feel that you have to make people feel that, first of all, it's a reason why they can use a dating app, so they can maybe find someone suitable for them. And the second is that they have to feel safe on the dating app. So I think in terms of marketing, it's very important that we communicate to our potential users this first time dating app users. And a lot of girls feel reluctant to use dating apps. And then we have to be very clear in our communication that okay, so why are girls reluctant to use dating apps? For example, this about safety. They don't know who they are talking to. And I can understand that it can be anyone. And we can also see at Fika that there are people that are trying to use fake accounts that we don't allow in Fika. And then we have to be clear in our marketing communication and speak to in particular like the women, like young women in Vietnam, and say that, okay, so Fika, we only have real people at Fika. It's a safe, authentic community. And then you can feel safer to use it. And then the second thing is that how are you going to like really come in as a player like and win a market? Then you also have to make people understand like what kind of value will you get if you're using the product. And if people, for example, with other dating apps can be like fast connections, maybe not something always like very serious, and a lot of people maybe don't want to be associated with that. But then you want to start to change your mindset about something when you hear about that your friends, for example, that they are using it. So for me, for example, I grew up in Sweden, and then I remember at this time, long time ago now, and then it was embarrassing to meet someone online. And then I was living in Russia, and then I came back to Sweden, and then everyone was on Tinder. Like all of my single friends was on Tinder. So it completely changed. And then it was like, yeah, but you cannot really meet someone seriously there. But then it changed in Sweden as well. So it changes when you hear that someone says that, oh, actually, my friend met her boyfriend on this app, or like, oh, actually, I also heard that. And that is the thing that you have to get to in Vietnam as well, because like people are so tech savvy, it's going to come. But I think that what other like international apps that they are and what they have, or like they may be missing something that is important for just like the Vietnamese or like the Asian markets. So if we can show that with AI, with really like quality profiles, with really connecting people suited for each other, the faster it will be that you hopefully will hear someone saying that, I didn't think that I could meet someone, or like you could meet someone on a dating app, but actually my friend met her husband on Fika. And that will be one, I mean, it hasn't happened, maybe, I don't know, maybe not yet, but that I think that you will change your mindset about something when it really works. So I think that the fact that we are safe, and also the fact that we are, like in the communication, we are focusing on women, communicating that you can feel safe using Fika. And also the fact that if you're using Fika, there's a bigger chance that you will find someone suitable for you. I think those are two main ingredients that we have to be very strong with communicating in our marketing, for people to really believe in the product and in us.
One thing I can notice that you have emphasized that Flickr is a female-focused dating app and is safer for women. I think this is a very good selling point for your business in customers' eyes, because I think as a woman, I think it's very important element for any women to consider before they join in a dating app. And so question here is, how many women do you have on the app?
And what is the different ratio between female and male users, and also between different age groups on the app?
So now we have over 600,000 downloads actually. So it's good. So we have been growing very fast we have actually, most of the users are of course in Vietnam, but we are having over 20,000 downloads globally. So it's people in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is the second biggest market. So we have, I think maybe 5,000-6,000 downloads in Hong Kong, a couple of thousand in Singapore. And the reason why we are giving the opportunity for other people outside of Vietnam to download Fika is that, as you know, we have foreigners in Vietnam, and some of them are using maybe the French Google Play or App Store, and we don't want to exclude anyone. But we are focusing mainly on Vietnam. And in terms of the ratio between men and women, so it's very interesting that you're asking about that, because it's such an important question, of course. And looking at the main, looking at Tinder, for example. So if you look online, you can see that they have about 25% that are female, and Bumble, which is a female-focused dating app, they are having around, according to latest statistics, 32% women, female users. And Fika now, we have about 35% in total. And the latest weeks, we have over 40% that are female users. And that is something, since I am a woman, and since our team is actually most of them are female, it's very nice to us to see that so many young women in Vietnam, they feel that Fika is an opportunity, like an option for them. And now we have been focusing mostly on 18 to 24-year-olds. So a lot of the generation said, a young generation, but now with our launch, we're going to focus on people who are 25 plus. So yeah, it's quite exciting.
Talking about safety, as far as I know that you check people's ID to verify their authenticity. So how do you protect this information of customer for it not to be leaked out to the third party? Because privacy and safety is very important for any users when they use Kaizen.
So actually, we only check the ID if it's we have an 18-year-old limit. So if you look maybe younger than 18, we request to check your ID. But for the others, it's just a selfie. And then the selfie is not shared to it's not shared to any third partner, so it's everything is Fika. And then if you ask someone to provide your ID, then that photo is deleted. So it's like a verification. You can see that if it's a person who looks like he or she is younger than 18, we can send a message. Our admin can send a message and say that, can you please provide us with your ID card? And then once the person has sent this, we can click in that the person is, okay, this person is verified. And then we delete the photo of the ID. So for us, security is something, it's something very important. And I think it's nice that people in Vietnam start to care more about security. And I think that is also one of the things that you have to have as a new app these days, because people want to know who are they talking to, who is the people behind this product, and what is going to happen with my information. And I think that's also part of the way that we want to be. We want to be friendly, transparent, and reliable in our communication, the way that we work.
I see. Now talking more about business development. So how do you divide work between co-founders? Do you have any conflicts sometimes? And if you have, how do you solve the problem?
So it's me and my co-founder Oscar. So we are the founders of Fika. So we've been knowing each other since 2015. So for 6 years now. So we are good friends. And Oscar is taking care of everything. So he's the CEO. So he's taking care of everything that is related to tech and now also mainly design. So the ideas behind Fika, it comes from me and Oscar. And then we have the idea, and then it takes a bit longer time, or it takes time to develop something. But we had been very had this vision of Fika. And now, since we are taking in external capital, for me, so I'm CEO. And for me, before I was more involved both of us are very involved in the operations of like Fika and the product development. But now we are thinking in external capital. For me, it's more investor relations than it was clearly before. But I'm taking care of, Oscar's taking care of everything that has to do with tech and also with like design. And he's like checking with me also like, does this look like good, or like we always like, we are very like aligned. And then for me, it's about marketing, finances, and like CEO tasks. So for the marketing team, I was heading them before, but now we promoted Lynn to marketing manager. So now she's heading the marketing team, but I am still the person who is like responsible for the marketing team. So yeah, that is the split, and we are we don't have so much. We don't have any conflicts, I would say. But if it would be, I mean, we are very different as people, but very similar, and we've known each other for such a long time. So I think that it's very important then when you with your co-founder that you really trust each other and that you respect each other, and that also you know each other so well that you know what you sort of are good at, like and like what the other person is best at, and so and so, and that you don't have so much ego. Like we are very like direct, very transparent when we're working together. So actually I wouldn't say that we don't have any like big or like conflicts, but of course it can be like if you're discussing about maybe design of something or so and so, then maybe Oscar wants something and maybe I want or like I think something else looks like better. And then like we can argue. I mean, like I can present why I think something, and he can present why he thinks something. But then it just goes to this far. So I think that's very important to have this kind of relationship that you can be honest, and you can present your ideas, and then you don't have so much egos that you have to be right all the time, and you can just think about what's best for the company. And I think that me and Oscar be.
So you are lucky that you have
A very good co-founder.
I ask this question because I see that a lot of startups, they have problems between co-founders, especially when one person or two person have so big egos, and that is going to be problems for the whole team.
So another question, usually it's not a question I would ask for an early stage startups, but because I follow your LinkedIn and I see that you proudly share a lot of information about your team and how well you work together as a team. So I'm curious, do you think company's culture is important for an early stage startup? And if yes, can you share some about that at FreeCar?
Of course. So yeah, I think it's very important, and I think that these days, I mean, people are so good, hardworking, and smart, and a lot of people, they don't only work for like the money or so, but it's important for them to feel that they can grow. They have to feel comfortable with your colleagues, and they have to. I think that the people that we love to employ at Fika, they are having this like growth mindset. So they want to become like, they want to grow and they want to be part of something that is interesting and like a vision. So I think that for us, it's very important to have like an environment so everyone feels that they feel comfortable. In Sweden, we are very like flat hierarchy. So it means it's a little bit different from how it can be in specific like corporate companies in Vietnam, and we are comfortable in that way. I'm quite young, I'm 30, Oscar is 27, the median age on Fika is 27, so I think that our communication is very like friendly and fast, and I think that we're using actually Salo a lot in our communication. And and I think it's we really love these like, you know, emojis, like they want to start like rolling around and like and happy in that way. So I think that if you set this like culture that everyone can like, everyone is hardworking, everyone is doing like their best, and that we just try to like create the best things for the best product, and that no one should feel afraid to like speak up. I think that's very important, and that's kind of environment that we would like to have. So I think that for companies, it's extremely important to have a company culture that suits like the employees. And I have been working at different companies, and I think that I have learned a lot from different companies and different cultures. And I'm very happy now to be able to sort of set a little bit like the company culture that we want to have at Fika. We are like friendly, we are hardworking, have fun, and we have very high ambitions. And since we have high ambitions, we can like push each other and like encourage each other and like, you know, going forward to that. And I think that is a nice environment to work in. So I would say this is very important to have a good company culture.
Okay, I see that you have been working in a lot of other countries and companies, international companies outside of Vietnam. So do you have any difficulties when you go to work in Vietnam, and is it difficult for you to adapt to your working environment here?
Yeah, it's a good question. So yeah, I think it's because I had a lot of different working experience from different countries. I have become quite good at adapting. I was quite young when I lived in Russia, for example, or like in China. I lived a bit in Vietnam, in Thailand. I was working shortly in London, even like in North Africa. So I think that the difference between me when I was 20 to 25 and compared to now when I'm 30 is that I sort of can use the knowledge that I got when I was younger, and then I'm still good at adapting, but I also know what I'm good at. So I think it's always about like communication. For me to work in Vietnam, I was the only foreigner at my previous company for almost 3 years. So that is something very like typical for like not something I think about a lot. I think that I am very good at I'm very interested in understanding people and understanding how things work. And I learned so much from my previous Vietnamese colleagues and the culture and different things. And then I had that time when I was not the CEO. So I had to observe more and like understand more about how people are reacting, or like interacting with each other. And I think that in Vietnam now, I think that culture is one thing to understand that this is how it works in Vietnam, and this is like a way of communication and so and so. But I think that for me and for Oscar, who doesn't speak a word of Vietnamese, both of us think it's very easy to work in Vietnam, because we think that people are so passionate, so friendly, and the people that we are working with, they're having so much that they really want to like prove for themselves. They really want forward. They have this like growth mindset, and I think that no matter where you are in the world, Russia, China, wherever you are, Sweden, I think it's about like if you work with people who have this like high ambition that they want to become better, and then they want to be a part of something and so and so, then I think that is the most important thing. So I think that culture-wise, we didn't face any difficulties, I would say, like overall to work in Vietnam. And I would say that we are so proud and so happy with all our like Vietnamese local employees, and I'm really we're really impressed actually of how hardworking and how passionate people are. So
I see. Now come back to Fikar.
What was the best feedback have you received
and make you feel so proud and happy that Fikar have brought great value to the community?
Yeah, I think when you're doing like a social and dating app, I think the best feedback is when someone meets their boyfriend or girlfriend, of course. So we have gotten some, we're going to share them a little bit later, but there are couples that have been formed through Fika. So that is the best feedback that you can get, I would say. And then we have, they're not the public, but we have actually like a couple who actually got married.
Already?
That was, but that was, so we see Fika, we have an app, but we also want to create this like nice, like friendly, empowering community. So this was actually, they met like through Fika, but not exactly through the app. But I think that's that is something very nice. So that is the best feedback so far.
It's a very new app, and it's already created interesting stories for users. So it's something you should be proud of. So do you have any other interesting story about building or developing Flickr that you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah, I think for people who maybe are thinking about starting their own companies and so on, like don't know where to start. And I think that some people are asking me like, how did you have the courage to maybe like leave your previous job or like move to Vietnam or like start something like this? And I think that overall with Fika and my own experience is that like you don't have a complete control far from all the time, especially with startup. And I think that with Fika it's been fast, and we like when things go fast. And when things go fast, you cannot really, I think that if you feel that you have control over everything, then you may be moving a little bit too slow. So I think it's normal to feel that, wow, this is happening and this is happening. So I would say that it's so much that has been grown with 600,000 downloads in a couple of months, and we're just really getting started. And I think that it's fun to see like when people are writing that, oh, this is inspiring, or this is like they're asking for advice and so, which is very, very flattering and like really like testimonial on how like what we have done so far. But I would really say that what I've learned with Fika is that like you try your best and you really dare to be brave and you do something. And if you really believe in yourself, then you really set yourself apart a little bit from a lot of people, because a lot of people be having these like pressure from society a little bit that you don't want to do something that could like we care so much about we are afraid to fail, we care about what other people think, we care about all the voices that are saying that it's not going to work and so, and that is very human. So I think that for people, if you believe in yourself, because I can say that with Fika, of course, it's a lot of struggles, of course, behind like every success, and like of course you don't see everything. But I think that if you really believe, like if you find this like belief in yourself, what you're doing, and just like really understand that nothing is perfect, it's not going to be perfect, and really like find this like way for yourself, that is something I would like to share with Fika. We have looking at now, it's amazing with how fast it has gone and so. That really have been, I'm not saying that we have been struggling, but we haven't really like pushing ourselves, and it's about really like believing what you're doing, and also like come to this balance that you have to listen to people, but you also have to trust in your inner voice. And I would say that is something that has become even stronger like during this time with Fika.
That's true. I totally agree. And I think it's already about whether you believe in yourself or not to move to the next step and growth. But sometimes things are not as smooth as we expect. For example, the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting us seriously. So does it affect your business as well? And how do you adjust your strategy to adapt to the situation?
Yeah, so like first of all, it's I'm really sad to see how the country is affected, but yeah, so I really hope that things are going to get better. For us, being a tech company, we are very lucky in this situation, because I don't think it's so much for us to complain about, because everything is online. Our employees are safe at home. They can work, we can conduct business as usual. The only thing is that we usually have dating spot suggestions at Fika. So you can book your date at the different restaurants and cafes and bars. And now we have closed that function like naturally. But except for that, it's really nothing. So I would say that that is something that is very appreciative to be like a tech product. And I am in Sweden. I thought I could come back to Vietnam much earlier, as I said before. But with the situation in Vietnam, and now I have taken a vaccine in Sweden, I can work online. So I go up 4 a.m. In Swedish time, which is 9 a.m. Vietnamese time, and then I can work with everyone online. And I feel so we are so like appreciative to what we have, and that we have this situation. And I would say that for Fika, we have really nothing to complain about, really. And I'm really just feeling really sorry for all the other businesses that are much more heavily affected than we are in these times. The only thing is that I haven't met a lot of people that we have employed because of the situation. But that's it. Yeah.
Very smooth then. I asked that question because a lot of people are complaining that they cannot find a partner during this period, even with the help of a dating app. Because you know that now they can just talk online, they cannot meet the person, and it's very boring sometimes, especially when you are alone, you are single, and you are locked inside the house with no one else around. Yeah. So now the conversation is coming to an end soon. Would you like to share some advice, or do you have any lesson learned you would like to share with young founders?
I would say that, believe in yourself and find something that you're passionate about. So I think that most founders know about this, but sometimes people can say that I just want to have my own company, or I just want to be CEO or something. And then it's great, of course. Who doesn't want to have their own company and be CEO? It's like, that's a dream for a lot of people. But like, it's actually important to think about, like, why do you want it also? So then you can start in that. You can start in that and saying that you want to be the CEO or you want to have your own company. That's great. But then think about, like, what do you really want to, when you're having your own company, what kind of problem is your company going to solve? Is it in medtech, for example? Is it in, I don't know, e-commerce? Like, what is it that you want to solve? And then there are so many different problems to solve in the world. And then you can, for us, it was about connecting people, like creating meaningful connections in a safe and authentic environment. That was something that was felt very like a big thing for us and for me personally, because if it wouldn't have been for all the, especially kind Vietnamese people, I wouldn't never have found my Vietnamese mom. So that was a really like personal thing for me that I wanted to do something with, partly that. But I think for each founder, with all the different problems that you can solve, you have to try to find like why you are so passionate about it, because that will really make you put in these hours and really like make you become passionate about something. And I think if you're looking for external capital, if you're going to be like in interviews or like whatever you're going to be, I mean, I think that we all love people that are passionate about something. For me, like, it doesn't matter if it's passionate about animals or passionate about like whatever it is. I think that we all feel inspired when we speak to someone that is passionate about something. And I think that for all these hours that you're going to put in as founder, like, if it's something that you think is really interesting and that you like, then you're going to do it. And then if it's something that you just maybe I just want to be the boss, or like I just want to have my own company and so on. So that is the thing, is that it's the hard work that you put in that is going to really distinguish you from others. And that is why, like, I'm saying this, that maybe from the outside you see like 600,000 downloads, or you see like this and this and this happening, they raise this much money and so and so. But a lot of times, like, people forget about the hard work that is put behind. And you really have to put in the hours. You have to put in the hard work. If not, someone else maybe is going to pass you. There's a lot of competition out there. So I would say except for believe in yourselves, believe in yourselves, and just like dare to do things. I would say just like try to find something that you're really like passionate about, because it's gonna be many hours put in, and you're gonna make it.
That's true.
if you're passionate about something and work hard for it, I really believe that anyone is gonna be able to do anything.
That's true. I totally agree, and I believe you. Because I know that it's very fascinating, very interesting to work for a startup, especially as the first few years when you are such like a motivated person. You have a lot of ideas that you just want to deploy right away, immediately. But there are a lot of hardships as well. And it needs you to be patient and have a more courage to overcome. So you have to prepare for all of that. So yeah. For now, thank you so much for joining me today at Talks with Leaders. And would you like to say something about Fika in 1 or 2 sentences so that you can convince your target potential customer to install it?
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much for having me today. It was really nice. And for everyone who is so interested or like potentially interested in downloading Fika, I would say that Fika is a female-focused AI social and dating app. We are developed in Vietnam by a local Vietnamese team, and we are targeting the Vietnamese market initially. We are a safe platform, and we're using AI technology, and we are doing our best to really push up people that will be suitable for you, to help you to find meaningful connections. So if you want to give Fika a try, you can feel completely safe, and I think that you will have a very good experience. So.
Okay, that's more than 2 sentences already. Thank you so much. And I hope that more and more people will go to Fika and install Fika and give you feedbacks so that you can develop it better and better in the future and bring more smiles, more happiness, more values to lonely and single people in the future.
It's been very interesting, very nice to talk to you today. I have learned a lot, and good luck, and also congratulations for what you have gained so far. And see you again. Thank you. Bye bye.
Okay. Thanks so much.